Okay, guys. Like, it's been a day. It's been a day. So, yeah, I just had to get back on here and clear a lot of things out from that last video because that was just an absolute wreck. Bear with me though. It's been nonstop for me until just about now. Not stalkers, just life. Okay, so literally, I had a 6-pack of beer. I'm down. This is the last one. That a customer gave to me literally 3 years ago. The born on date was July 4th of 2016. So, it's been a long day. I've had this one left for a while. Get home, get everything set up, about to crack this thing open. Crack it open, and it literally went everywhere. Everywhere. I got half a beer. So, I don't know if it's because it's super old, or, could somebody have shaken it up in my fridge or something while I was down at the lake? I don't know. I know none of the other 5 blew up like that, and the last one I had of that was yesterday. So, tell me what, if old beer maybe explodes. I don't know. It just seemed weird to me. Okay, so I want to touch base about the whole gang of 6 people that were down there. Not 7 or not 5, but there were 6 of them. So I knew there was something wrong with them. And like I was saying, I counted 7. One lady was a little bigger and carrying a chair, so I guess I thought that was another person. But there were 6 of them. So again, derivatives of 3. The funny thing about that is when I was walking down to the lake, this black Lexus, and it's always, in my case, my stalkers are always in a Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, Lexus, or Benz. All of which I cannot stand, except Jeeps. I like a few of the Grand Cherokees and the Wrangler, but anyway, it's a whole other story. But this Lexus comes up on us through a corner, hauling butt, and slows down to 2 miles an hour to go by us. So, of course, I take my son off the road and my dogs off the road and wait for them to go by. And then, literally, as soon as they go by and we get back to walking, here comes a Dodge truck hauling butt. And then does the same thing. Just stands there, and then they start to roll down the window, then roll back up the window. And I'm like, yeah, there's something up with those people for sure. And ironically, those were the people that were down there at the lake. I saw them on my way back up. This is a long story just in itself. On my way back up, I passed by their house with 4 other people that are walking with me. I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, the father or dad or whatever was outside. They obviously saw me leaving, and he wanted to come stand outside and I guess try to intimidate me. So I let my dog crap in his yard, and I just sat there and stared at him while he didn't say anything. And at this point, again, it took 2 hours to upload that video, so not the best phone, I guess, for this. I don't know. I really need to figure out how to switch these files around where I can just record video and then upload it later. If y'all have any tips how to do that or how to go live, because my phone does not want to let me go live. But I also have a lot of Google Play services disabled and all that. I'm pretty sure that's the cause of it. So if you know another back road, let me know. So the 6 of those people down there is just ridiculous. I mean, I don't know if you saw that video. If you didn't see that video, go back and check it out. Because, I almost lost my temper there for a minute. And also, they walk by at 8 minutes and 30 seconds, speaking Spanish or Portuguese. I don't know. So if any of y'all know, Spanish, Portuguese, go to 8 minutes, 30 seconds in that previous video and see if you can tell me what they said. Because they were saying something. I was actually walking away from the phone, throwing a stick to my dogs to fetch. And they walked by. I mean, they literally almost brushed my stroller that I take Will in and carry all my stuff with. So, I mean, they were right there, and you can clearly hear them speaking a different language. So if you could help me out with what they were saying, I would greatly appreciate that. Okay, so what else is on there? Covered that. All right. So yeah, those 6 people came down there. I was pretty sure that they were gonna stay there the entire time, but they didn't. They strictly, immediately. Oh, this is the other thing. I noticed those people getting out of their vehicle and stuff, and I only saw, I guess, the dads or whoever, the male figures, literally got out of their truck drinking beer. So, I mean, not only are they driving around illegally, they're just, that's trashy to me. And, you know, you hit me or my kid because you're driving around drinking in my neighborhood, you're going to have a price to pay, buddy. I promise you that. If you're watching, because I'm pretty sure you are one of my stalkers. Because after those kids and the women and stuff walked back up there, that one kid, he was probably 17, 18, somewhere in there. Then they had 2, I guess, younger girls with them, and then 3 adults. So they had like trailers. The 2 older women were like behind them the whole time. They were just like, I'm guessing probably about a 3-minute gap in between their passings as the group. So the one lady and the kids, the younger ones, got to the house first, and I could see the dude out on his porch, and he was hollering something at me at one point in time. And I just thought it was funny, run your mouth from, close to a quarter mile away. Real man. But anyways, after they had all left, I started getting real dizzy spells, and I actually started seeing stars. And I was like, oh, you punks with your freaking directed energy, like, I rebuke you. And then I could hear them start laughing as soon as I said that, man. And there's no way they could hear me say that. I said it in a normal tone. And, I'm a long ways away. There's no way they heard that unless they heard it through my phone. But I just found it ironic. They started bursting out laughing when I said that. And then, the dizziness went away. I stopped seeing stars. So, I know where they live, which is dumb. But, I guess there's more than one way to skin a cat. So that being said, I wanted to clear that up from the previous video because that was just a wreck, and then kind of retouch some of the subjects I kind of skimmed over because, I really didn't think I'd be bothered down there again this time. So, after that group of 6 left, another woman comes down, and she actually has more respect, but she was obviously one. I guess the word got around that I wasn't going to be, have anybody up on me in my personal bubble. So she walked over to the left of the cove I was showing you before, probably another 50 yards away. I'm guessing them probably closer to 60 yards, if you want to break it down through the numbers that, like I was saying. But she had 2 dogs and sat over there, went and sat on the ground and had her phone out like she's over there recording me for a good 15-20 minutes. And while she's doing that, I notice another pair of people at my original spot where I normally go. There's 2 people there with 2 dogs sitting there holding the phone at the same time. So like they have me pinpointed in the middle of these 2 people with their phones, and it's obvious what they're doing. I have great eyesight. I didn't have binoculars or anything. If I could have filmed them, I would have. And then while they're doing that, another group of 4 people walk up in my spot. And I started to kind of be rude to them. I told them, if y'all are coming to swim, you don't want to swim here. And I was like, my dogs, and my dogs immediately ran out, tails wagging, like trying to get to them. It's like, well, so much for that intimidation tactic. But at the same time, my dogs kind of read people. And what's ironic about this guy and his family, they came from Ecuador. They're white folk. And they came from Ecuador. And, he kind of struck me as a friendly person, like somebody that really wasn't in on the targeting. But now that I've been home for a little while and had time to think about it, I'm pretty sure he was. People that just come up to you and act like they know you normally are, because they do know you. So we get to talking. He's talking about fishing, how they came from Ecuador, and oh, this is the other thing. And this bright light just appeared. I don't know if it was a drone, but this bright light appeared. It was way too bright to be a star, and it was still daylight. And I was like, "Well, look at that." And he's like, "Yeah, that I saw that. It kind of looks weird." And I'm like, "Yeah, there's something up with that." And then we kind of went back to talking, and I glanced back up, and it's gone. And we probably stood there and talked about an hour. And on our way back out, I turned back around, and it was back. And I'm like, "Look, there it is again." And he thought that was weird. And this guy, I might look like a pothead, which I was for a long time, but not anymore. He was trying to score pot off me, or asked me if I knew where to get any. They came from, like I said, Ecuador, and apparently having a house built or something, and they screwed the septic up. I don't know. Just, it's always a dramatic story with these people. But we got to talking on the way back about Tesla technology and, a domed Earth. And we're all on the same page with that, so I asked him if he had heard about gang stalking. And to my experience, everybody I know with that kind of knowledge is targeted. And I honestly believe that's why they're targeted, because they have knowledge that certain people don't want you to have. So, William, no. Go watch your movie, baby. Please? No. Not right now. Not this time. Yeah, I love you too. Go play with the dogs. William, go finish your movie, baby. No. Don't make me be mean. Go watch your movie. William Edward, go back to your room, please. Okay, you're just gonna stand there and act like he doesn't know what I'm saying when he does. I'll play with you in a minute, baby. Give me 20 minutes, okay? Okay, so this guy has all this knowledge, but has never heard of that, and he's into Reiki, which, is something that's not feasible for a God-fearing man in my book. But anyways, we'll see where that goes. I exchanged phone numbers. He's apparently wanting to do some fishing. He has an older daughter. She's probably 14 or 15. I didn't see any tattoos on any of these people. So, I mean, if they are, part of the program, then they're pretty good at hiding it. Which, at this point with the knowledge I have, it's kind of hard to get over on me. So, they would be clever like that. But anyways, it's a lonely life. And if I got to deal with a little bit more drama to have a fishing buddy, then, so be it. I exchanged phone numbers with him. We had a pretty good conversation. But, his daughter got along great with my son. And as you know, my son's mother is no longer around. So, having, female hormones around him is good for him. It's good for his development. It's something he needs. And he's a little cuddle bug, so. And she really liked him, and he liked her. He's normally pretty standoffish with people, too, so. It is kind of nice for a change, but I'm not letting my guard down on that. There's no way. So, that's a total of 15 people that I had interaction with, the 2 hours I was down there, which I have spent days in a row down there and never seen this kind of traffic, dude. And literally, all these people were on foot. Not one person showed up in a vehicle down there, all on foot, all walking. And this guy was with me, and his wife and his 2 kids, and when we walked back, and I was telling him about this other thing, the other family or whatever that were in the Lexus and Dodge truck, it's the first ones you see in the last video. But while we're sitting there talking, one of my well-known stalkers, Mr. Miller. Oh, this is another thing I want to cover real quick while I think of it. watch out for last names. This is one thing I've noticed. Millers, Colemans, Smith, Wilson, people with those last names, be extra suspicious. You know, I'm sure because there's so many people with those last names, it could just be coincidental. But then again, I don't see coincidences. All right, so be wary of those names. Oh, and the last name Wolf. Literally, so many named Wolf that literally are wolves. So this other guy that I know, his last name is Miller. I know that he literally did some bad things to his brother to get inheritance. So we'll just leave it at that. He's definitely one of my stalkers. You've seen him in a few videos. Well, I have a few videos of him stalking me. The last time I was down there, he's the one that showed up on the motorcycle and stuff. But dude's bad news. He's a doper. He sells dope. I've known him for a long time. I beat him up when I was like 17. So we've always kind of had it out. So I'm really wondering if maybe he's one of the initiates for, you know, my stalking. Anyways, he showed up. Actually drove down there on my spot and unloaded a little boat and was trying to be all buddy-buddy with my dog. And ironically, a night ago, my dog was chasing somebody out of the yard, and I told him to get him. I'm over it. So I let him run, and he actually made that comment, "Oh, hey, was your dog out in the middle of the road last night? I saw him when I drove by." You know, just nonchalantly letting me know, yeah, that was me outside your house last night. And for you, buddy, all I can say is don't let me catch you on my property, because you will not leave. And I'm not threatening your life, but I'll beat you from an inch of it, dude. No lie. And I will hold you here until uncorrupt cops get here, for sure. And, yeah, like, I've literally reached a point where I'm just over being harassed and having to stay up all night and protect my house from these creeps, man. And it wears you down. It really does. And, you know, I don't know what their intentions are. I've heard, you know, a lot of the occult, they want the kids. You know, so the last thing I'm going to let happen is them do something with my kids. And, you know, like, I don't know if you saw my dog Kenzo, how he has a limp. Like a month ago, somebody hit him or kicked him with something and dislocated his hip. Actually wound up having to pop it back in place. And that's one reason why he squalled earlier whenever I shoved Orca off me when he was jumping at me. He landed on his hip, and he's kind of got a tender leg again. He's kind of limping it a little, but I got to make him take it easy. But anyways, I have a feeling it was that guy. So, you know, my dog didn't like him either, even though he was like trying to bribe him with food and stuff. And then, you know, those other people, it was just absolute chaos. So finally get home, like these people follow me all the way to my house. They apparently live like a few doors down. So, you know, I don't want them to know exactly where I live, so I like walk past my house. I'm like, oh, you know, this is me. And then wait for them to keep on walking and then turn around and go back to my house. And as soon as I get home, I feed the dogs. And then I cook some fried rice for me and Will. And my dog just like pees and poops all over the place. Like he doesn't do that. So I had to clean up all his feces. And then get Will in the bath. And he has a little stuffed monkey that's his baby. It has to go with him everywhere. He decided to throw it in the toilet. So I had to wash that up and get it. And then get it out of the dryer for him. And then by the time I did that, he literally exploded out of his diaper. He got it all over the bed, all over his leg, like all tracked through the living room. So I had to deal with that. So I put him back in the shower, turned on the shower, and somehow the settings changed and it sprays water everywhere, all over me, like I'm still soaking wet. And then I finally get the wind down and have my beer, and my beer blows up on me. So at this point, I'm like, yeah, it's been a day. And it's a new day now, so enough of that drama. I just want to kind of explain that stuff from the previous video and, you know, let you know what all happened. So I want to kind of go back over some of the things I was talking about earlier. So, where am I at? Okay, so I said, cops and lawyers earlier, and then never even said a word about cops. Alright, this is one thing you need to learn and study. I don't care what state you're in, you need to know your gun laws. You need to know your constitutional God given rights. Okay, if you do not know these things, learn them now. Okay, they're going to push you around to the extent that if you don't know your rights, you're going to incriminate yourself, or they're going to do things to you that you might think is justified. Okay, so you do not have to talk to them. If you are not breaking a law, you do not have to identify yourself. At least here in the state of Texas, but I'm pretty sure that's basically all the states, man. In California, New York, Florida, I can't really tell you because those are all super liberal states. Okay, so there's no telling what kind of laws they have implemented by now. I know when I lived in Cocoa Beach, Florida, 18 years ago, it was a whole different world. Absolutely ridiculous. And I stayed there for 2 weeks and came back to Texas. So we'll leave it at that. Okay, so if you have roadblocks and stuff like that, get you an extra copy of your insurance. Okay, Xerox it, whatever you got to do. Get you an extra copy. Get you a Ziploc baggie, and keep it in that baggie. Okay, take some kind of string or fishing line, whatever you got, and put you a piece of string 18 to 24 inches long, and put a copy of your insurance in there. Keep it in your glove box. Tie you a decent knot on the end of the opposite end of the rope, whatever you're securing it with, from the baggie. If you're coming up to a roadblock, take your baggie out, put your ID in there, hang the baggie out the window, roll your window up. Let the baggie hang out, alright, with your insurance. And a note that reads, I do not consent to searches, I do not answer questions, and I do not comply with your roadblock in violation of my rights. Hang that out your window. The majority of the time, they will wave you through. Okay? But if you do not know your rights, you're going to have that one cop that's going to test your knowledge. Okay? So they might want to pull you out of your car and do all other kinds of things to you to see how much you know. Okay? So if you're going to do that, you need to know your rights. Otherwise, you're going to create a bigger problem for yourself in that scenario. Even though the majority of the times you will avoid all conflict, there's going to be that one time that if you test them, they're going to try to test you. So get familiar with your laws. Get familiar with your rights. Don't let them walk on you. You don't have to talk to them. You have the right to plead the fifth, the right to remain silent. You don't have to say anything, because anything you do say is going to be used against you. With your stalkers, with the police, everything. Even though it's all the same system, they're going to do that. Okay, so learn your rights, know your rights. Don't incriminate yourself. If they want to talk to you and they want you to identify, ask them what crime you're committing. Why do I need to identify myself? And if they, have a legitimate reason, then identify yourself. But typically that doesn't happen unless you're suspected of committing a crime. So if you're just doing something nonchalant and they want to come up and harass you, make them identify themselves first. Ask them whatever their tag is, even if you can openly see it. Even if they say, well, it's right there, make them say it. Make them identify themselves. Okay? Their first name on top of that. Make it even more personal. And their badge number. That puts them already in a different state. And if you can, film it. Okay? So that'll protect you from a lot of drama in that aspect. Okay? So the other thing I want to touch more on was the tattoos. I mentioned the clowns. I've noticed in a lot of TI videos and stuff, when they're like, oh, this stalker right here, or they're filming, you always see a skull, a devil, or a clown. They all represent the same thing. And a lot of these females that do the stalking and stuff, they have these floral designs. Even though it looks pretty, most of the time it's not. Butterflies, fairies, Dragonflies, things with wings, signify programming big time, like even more programming. Eagles represent a lot, and owls definitely are the occult. So watch out for that stuff. Be very leery of any tattoo. I mean, it's really hard to judge a book by its cover, but the majority of the times it's wide out in the open, and you don't really need to put a whole lot of thought into it. Obviously, if it's a cross or something, research your crosses, research sigils and symbols. Okay, different crosses mean different things. So if you're looking at a Catholic cross, you know those are the same that have preachers that molest children. Okay, to me, Catholic, I mean it. There's no doubt about it. It's paganism. It's the deception, bad people, the Pope, all that bad juju. Okay, so if you see, you know, like a Knights Templar cross or the Mason compass, all that stuff should be obvious signs, you know. An eye, something with just its left eye open or winking, those are signs to watch out for those people. Okay. Obviously, anything like dark and demented, watch out for. But you know, we all make mistakes. I understand that. I'm not trying to dog on anybody that has tattoos or anything like that. I'm strictly stating facts that I've learned along my journey to defend myself from the perps. These videos aren't for everybody. There's a select group that will understand what I'm saying, and those are the ones that I'm talking to. And by all means, I'm not trying to put any of my brothers or sisters down. Please understand that. It's all love here, and I'm just trying to create a room of understanding. This is a safe zone. We can talk about anything. So don't feel any kind of awkwardness or anything. If you want to comment, comment. I'm not going to put you on blast. Your secrets are safe with me. I'm here for advice, anything I do know. You know, I haven't really got much input back, but then again, I'm pretty sure I'm shadow banned and I only have, you know, a couple dozen subscribers. So, for me, if I could change 24 lives, that is a big deal for me. If I can just get one to see the truth and get right and get back on the path, then I'm a-okay with that. So, that being said, watch out for those tattoos, okay? And yeah, obviously, like I said before, this is a spiritual war. You need to put on the full armor of God anytime you walk out that door, man. Every time. It's just something that you're going to have to do, or they're going to find a weak spot. You can't go into a medieval war and not take a shield. You're going to get crushed by a mace, okay? I mean, you got to have every piece of armor. You can't go barefoot. You're going to step on a nail or a splinter or slice your foot open on, you know, sharp rocks or something. I mean, there's a purpose for those scriptures in each piece of armor. So put that on every day. When you wake up, you should be thanking God for that day and blessing your enemies every day. Got to. Life will get a lot better. Okay, so I'm not trying to make another long video. There was a couple scriptures I wanted to share with you as well too. So where was I on here? Okay, so there was 2 Timothy. That's what I had here. I thought I had another scripture written down. But 2 Timothy is definitely worth the read. It's only 4 chapters. Very short. I mean, in my Bible, you're looking at 4.5 pages. Okay, but I specifically wanted to share with you a little bit of chapter 4. I'm just going to go from verse 1 to verse 8. So, we're going to do that now. Right now. Okay, so it says, I charge thee therefore before God and the Lord Jesus Christ, who shall judge the quick and the dead. Ooh, that's got to be a Mandela. That's different. At his appearing and his kingdom. Preach the word. Be instant in season, out of season, reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long-suffering and doctrine. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine. Okay, this is a Mandela effect reference to me. That's what I take it as. But after their own lusts shall they heap themselves to teachers having itching ears. Be careful of the mega churches. Be careful of these churches online that do not see these changes. They are going to lead you astray. If you're from a Christian family and stuff like I am, and they don't see the changes, don't push it. Don't get in an argument. Agree to disagree. Tell them you love them and let it go. Pray for them that night. Pray that they start to see the changes. Okay? Do not have any hatred in your heart towards them. Okay? Pray for them to come to the light and see. And you can start, I'm going to start really crunching through these. I mean, there's already a couple of great channels out there. Like Iya, EYA, one of the best Christian women I know of, and the most knowledgeable about Mandela effect changes to the Bible. There's a group on Facebook that is also excellent for this that she runs. If you want to be a part of that, just throw a comment down below and I'll get back to you. Or, no, I'm not going to throw my email out there. We'll save that for people that I actually do trust. Photo Helix is another one that goes over this. I love you, brother. If you're watching my videos, you are a God-sent blessing. I cherish you. I love you with all my heart, brother. Amazing man. Check him out. Alright, so on to verse 3 now. I read verse 3. 4 now. And they shall turn away their ears from the truth, and shall be turned unto fables. Osteen. That's all I can say. That dude is exactly what he's doing. Don't have itching ears for that guy's words. Please. Please realize this. But watch thou in all things, endure afflictions, do the work of an evangelist, make full proof of thy ministry. For I am now ready to be offered, at the time of my departure is at hand. I have fought a good fight, I have finished my course, I have kept the faith. Henceforth there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, shall give me at that day, and not to only me, but unto all them also that love his appearing. Do thy diligence to come shortly to me. Okay, so I'm going to leave y'all with that scripture. And again, that's 2 Timothy chapter 4, verses 1 to 9. I went one more past it than 8, like I had said. So, one more other thing I wanted to cover too. I told you to stay away from tap water, okay? So, you have spring waters and, you have drinking waters. Those are no bueno. I don't do those either. If I absolutely have no choice, which a lot of times when I do go try to get the water that I use, there's none on the shelf, okay? And I only use distilled water. That's it. That's what I cook with. That's what I drink. That's what I make my juices with, or Kool-Aid. That's all I ingest, okay? Secondly, if you can get it in glass, that's better. But I know I had a Sprite bottle. Here we go. I had a Sprite bottle here. Yes. This is one of my weaknesses. This and cigarettes. I need prayers from y'all. Get this stuff out of my life. I don't want soda, and I don't want cigarettes. I'm gradually weeding them out, but I can use all the prayers I can get. It's not something I want in my life. Okay? So, you have these little recycle symbols. Hopefully you can see that's a triangle. Okay? Typically there's some on the bottom, but there's a number 1 through 5 typically on them. Okay? 1, 3, and 5 are still toxic. They are toxic plastics, especially to women. If you have a hot bottle of water that you leave in your car, it gets past 70 degrees, guess what? Go get a mammogram. I mean, there's definitely ways to cure this, but it will give you breast cancer. Okay, it's not good for females, and it cannot be good for men either. But it has been proven over and over again to cause breast cancer. These plastics getting warm. If you're gonna go with plastic, look for a 2 or a 4. And I'm pretty sure I'm remembering that correctly. That's something I haven't looked up in a while. I could be wrong. I know 2 and 4 were good, but it could be 3 or 5 that is good as well. That's something you should research too. Get the knowledge. It's out there. You have a world of knowledge at your fingertips. Use it while it still can, okay? God bless you guys. I love you. I'll see you again soon. And salute!